Hello, welcome back to Smooth Traffic on YouTube. Once again, we're here with another exciting car, the Peugeot 508 GT. Now this is the 2-litre diesel model, which will chuck out around about 180 brake horsepower, give or take. And, well, it's quite a nice looking car. And I know that sounds like I'm underselling it, but I'm really not. I don't quite know what other word I want to use, but I do like the styling on it. Obviously Peugeot, about a decade ago, maybe more, started going with these very sort of basking shark front ends, and you can still see a little bit of that in this, but I think it's just been refined slightly, and it's a very striking car, and you can really see it as something that if you were doing a lot of mileage up and down the motorway every day for your daily commute, presumably you go to London from Cardiff or something, I don't know, then this would definitely do the job. Long distances, it should do around about 70 miles per gallon, and obviously you get the convenience of it being a diesel if you are one of those commuters, and it's just got a nice sort of fastback style back end to it, which we'll come on to in a second. But all in all, a nice looking car, and this sort of greeny blue colour, I'm kind of liking it. It's very French. Here is the back end of our Peugeot 508. Now, as you'll see, it's very wide, but it has got this lovely sweeping back, as I mentioned a moment ago. So, just the one set of exhausts, obviously. It's not a super sporty version, but it does trundle along quite nicely. And then we come to the boot, which obviously is self-opening. And you can see there is a lot of space in here. You can fit maybe 3 bodies. So, if anyone from the Mafia is watching, crack on. So we're now inside the Peugeot 508 GT, and I just made the mistake trying to put my foot on the clutch. It is of course an automatic, so it will just happily run through the gears with no bother.
8 speed, I think we said?
Yes, 8 speed. You don't even notice it, to be fair, which is exactly what you'd want. There is a sport mode which we can engage, and that will just make it a little bit more responsive, and there's a little bit of a delay with the pickup, but then we are already quite high up the speedo, already in the mid-40s, so. And you can go manual as well, so there are flappy paddles on this one, which
it's nice to have
just give you the option to, yeah, exactly, be able to just change gear as you see fit. Sport mode does also tighten up the steering a little bit, so that does give you just a little bit more control over where you put in the car, because it is a big car at the end of the day, and
there's absolutely ample space in the back for families or whatever.
Yeah, and you've already seen the space in the boot as well,
yes,
so
it's vast,
comfortable.
And inside the car actually is quite spacious as well. It does feel almost imposing with this big central part here, and the dash is, it's quite chunky, but it's still a fair bit of space above and in front, so it's quite nice. And the dash has got a sort of, can't see it from here obviously, but there's like a leathery type effect on the top, and then you've got a bit of carbon fibre look, so that sort of soft effect rather than actual carbon fibre.
Yeah, and there's nice leather stitching everywhere else.
It's nicely finished.
It's a very nice interior, comfortable, and the seats are obviously leather as well. Yep. Same sort of stitching around those, and they are not figure hugging.
So you've got a touch screen, maybe touch screen.
It is touch screen, yeah.
It is touch screen in the middle. Thank you, because I'm turning it on, it's going to be noisy. So we've got a touch screen, fairly decent sized one actually. It's not too big or imposing. It's got some nice chrome buttons underneath, which, to be fair, you can't see what's on it very easily from sitting back.
But you use them to cycle through the different things.
Yeah, so you probably
radio, air conditioning, sat nav, picture of a car. Oh, that's the assists that you've got turned on. Then phone, other apps, and then presumably voice control, but possibly with that one I'm not quite sure.
So with a lot of touchscreens, it's difficult to sort of cycle through the menus and know where you're going, but actually with those buttons there, it makes it quite straightforward. As long as you know which one's which. As I say, it's not that easy to see, but it's one of those things you'd get used to so quickly. Yeah, actually, I think it's probably quite a nice little solution, and it looks quite smart as well. They're quite unique, but you'll see the pictures of this in the video as well.
It's quite a wide screen as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It feels like that'd be
Which
quite
I
useful,
think-
especially for the sat nav, because you can get the extra info down the side as well as having a decent map in the middle.
Precisely.
The driver's information console thing is
Top work. The dashboard, as people used to call them.
some people call them dashboards. I call them driver digital information thingies. It's a full screen, digital screen, which is nice because it's sort of sharp. But the rev counter.
I have a criticism. The rev counter is backwards. So you've got the speedo on the left, which obviously goes from 0 right round to 160. Probably doesn't do 160. But then the rev counter goes from 0 to 6. So it's going round that way.
Anti-clockwise.
And
Not
that's
right.
just confusing.
So don't buy this car because that would. There's a lot to like about the car.
It is a very likable car. It's a nice ride. It's stylish on the outside. The back end in particular. So if you're following one, brilliant. So basically, just get someone you know to buy one. Then you don't have to look at the rev counter going the wrong way, but you can look at the back end because you can follow them everywhere.
So the steering wheel looks smaller. And
The steering wheel's
squarer.
interesting,
It's
yes.
an odd shape.
It's got a flat top and a flat bottom.
Does that bother you?
I'm not really sure what to say. To be fair, I mean the sides are less rounded as well. It's more of it's almost an octagonal steering wheel, because the sides are quite straight up there.
It's different, that's for sure. So
Nearly missed my turn.
I think that's what they've gone for with this car. So the back end almost looks like muscle car styling in its pointy bits. The steering wheel's funky. The styling of the interior is quite modern. I think they've taken a couple of gambles, but generally it's paid off. Like some of the speaker grills on the side here are kind of like they're obviously sticking out because they're like stainless steel or chrome or something like that. But it works, I think.
Absolutely.
Generally it works.
No, the interior is nice to be in, nice to look at, and probably difficult for children to mess up.
Yeah.
If that's a problem you've got.
So overall, quite like it. What do you feel about the? We haven't got the economy and stuff on there, have we? But
That's because I'm in sport mode, Ben. Because I'm a rebel. Let me change mode. Oh no, I've gone manual. Oh no, I'll have to change gear manually now. What a child. No, I mean to drive, it is very nice.
to be fair, with the styling and everything else, I think you could say this is a pretty good choice if you want something a bit different. It is French. That puts people off sometimes. But from what I'm seeing here, the classic French build quality of sort of many years ago, I don't think exists anymore. I think they've improved dramatically.
Yes, I mean you had a 106. Famously, you had a 106.
I did. It was appalling.
And
It was brilliant, but appalling at the same time. Things just were bolted together badly. But
yet this is the first Peugeot that I've ever driven.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, quite like it.